LEGO Master Champion Corey Samuels has recently been featured on Fox's hit show LEGO Masters. He is here today to speak to us about his experience in LEGO design, his life in the spotlight, and his passion to bring LEGOs into the STEM educational sphere. Corey will bring insight into how to engage with students through the art of LEGO design and how it can be applied to the work of our ACUI members to do with our students. Without further ado, I will turn it over to Corey.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me in the back? Excellent. So before I get started, I see that you guys have some Lego on the table. So please do not feel you're being rude to me if you're building. I encourage it, okay? So don't be scared. Lego's not gonna bite you. Don't step on them because they tend to hurt. All right. Before I get started, let me go ahead and say that number one, thank you for the invitation to the ACUI. I appreciate this invite to speak with you this morning. On top of that, I'm walking along the grounds of my alma mater. Yeah, 2014. I graduated from Uncle State with a bachelor's in fine arts and a business minor. So you can see where my passion was on campus. I wanted to do something with art and I wanted to do something with business. But my life was a little bit different because Lego wasn't really a part of it. It was more of a hobby and a childhood thing that I really enjoyed doing, but I didn't see it as a career path. But as I go through my keynote, I will be able to show you how it became my career path. And here I am, Lego Master Champion, Lego STEM Educator, CEO of Sam Brego LLC. Okay, so when did I start? That strapping young lad right there is a young Corey Samuels in the 7th grade. So back then, I was known as Corey Samuels, just like that. I was born here in New Jersey, graduated from Rahway High School. I went to school for illustration and fine arts with a business minor at Montclair State University. However, this particular picture was my very early stages in the world of Lego. I used to go to school and we had a program called Magnet. I was part of the Art Magnet program. Now this had a certain gift in different types of arts. So you had art, music, intellectually gifted. And one of the projects that we had, and it was such great projects, because we challenged ourselves every single day. We had to make a board game. And the board game I decided to do was Lego World. So I wanted to show my fellow students that Lego doesn't have to be complex or frustrating. It can be fun. It can be energetic. It can be, creative. So I created this board game from a feline. You know those super bred felines from my granddad. So I had that box, and I believe it was probably my sister's box, but I don't know. But I was able to kind of create this board game and kind of bring my friends into my world, because that's how I used to build with Lego. I never liked building sets. Sets were very frustrating to me, so I decided to create my own sets and create my own world, so to speak. As you see here, as a young child, I was gifted in arts, but as I got older, I wanted to apply arts to my career. And I always had a love for Lego. So just to fast forward a little bit and I'll jump back. During the pandemic is when I discovered I could do this for myself. So I worked at a company called Playwell, and they have locations all over the country, and we taught kids after school programs. And I was growing in this company. I was only there for about a year and a half, but I was becoming, a really prominent instructor in my area. I was looking to become a counselor. I was looking to become an instructor as well, and to work with learning and development for the company. But then the pandemic hit, and once that happened, everything got shut down. And one of the things that have always plagued me is that I always lose the job that I was really passionate for And I had to get pushed out of that position in order to grow within myself. So in this situation of the pandemic, I decided, all right, you know what? I don't feel like getting fired anymore. I don't feel like getting, early retirement from my jobs. I want to be able to work at my own pace and create my own path. So that's why I created an LLC. And Sam's Brego is not necessarily the first name you think of when you think of teaching kids Lego, but the name behind that, Sam's, is a nickname that I had in school, in high school. I used to sleep a lot in school. Sorry to break the news to you, Mom. But I used to sleep a lot in school. And my friends gave me that nickname because I was always sleeping. And Brego is basically what you see me wearing right here, and I'll touch on that further on into our keynote. But Brego is a brooch. It's a brooch made out of Lego. So you put those two together, you get Brego. So Sam Brego was the name that I created, and that is the legacy that I hope to leave here and elsewhere. Alright, now I just kind of explained a little bit what Sam Brego is, but it's a little bit more than just what I'm wearing. So it is a company that I created that creates a safe space for learning for kids. Using Lego as a fashion appeal, like Lego pins and badges and all types of stuff, but mainly during the pandemic is when I shifted. I decided to shift it into education because I felt like I would serve a bigger purpose if I was able to teach kids how to build with Lego in a creative space as opposed to just selling it. Different programs that I was in, TV shows, different artists that I created my brand for. It's a lot of stuff that I enjoy doing in this world, and I didn't have a blueprint as to how to navigate through it. And also I have to mention this because in case Lego is somewhere in the audience, my business is not sponsored by Lego or the Lego Group. So in case this gets out, I don't want them coming after me. Okay, so during the pandemic I mentioned that I decided to make my business an LLC. But in order for me to do that, I had the rare opportunity to join a TV show and other TV shows that kind of centered around Lego, which was very different in our world. So 2019, I was approached by Emerald Shine and the Fox Network to compete on the very first season of Lego Masters. Now Lego Masters was actually around since 2015 in the UK. That was the very first episode of Lego Masters, first season. Didn't do so well. 2018 rolled around and Australia picked up the show and decided to create Lego Masters in Australia. It became a really big hit. And because of that, the US decided to make this a show for the US. So the Fox Network got the rights to the show and they decided to create the first season. They slid into my DMs. Can I tell you, I was building a Super Mario figure for my students at a summer camp. Took pictures, all that great stuff, threw it on social media, great. About a month later, they reached out to me, slid in my DMs and said, hey, there's a show called Lego Masters and we think you'll be great for it. Yeah, right. Sent it right to spam. I didn't think it was a real thing. Then they emailed me. I said, okay, you guys are really persistent, or this thing is like really crazy. So I saw the signature on the email, and I went ahead and did my stalking. Got on Google, started to stalk this dude, and I realized that this was a producer for the Big Brother. If you're familiar with that show, this is one of the producers for it. So I said, okay, I know Big Brother. Seems like this guy's legit. Let me reach out before that opportunity slipped away. So of course they came back and they said, hey, yeah, we would love to have you on. Do you have a partner? I said, of course I do. I have my younger brother. Because if I got on this show and I didn't have my brother with me, my mother would kill me. So I made sure that my brother was right there with me. So we flew all the way to California, auditioned, came back to Jersey, went back to regular life. They called me as I was going to class. They said, hey, you need to pack your bags because you're coming out to Hollywood. You're going to be on the first season of Lego Masters. That was incredibly hard for me because I had to teach my students, and I was not in that mode. I was in the mode of, oh, okay, let's go. So I was able to get out there, and me and my brother became the Brothers Who Brick on that first season. Now 2020 is when our season aired, but I was also given an opportunity to work with Buddy Palastro. If you're familiar with him, he's the cake boss, all right? And Cake Media, they reached out to me and said, hey, we would love for you to be a part of our holiday special called Buddy versus Christmas, where Buddy would build different things, and he would make it out of cake, and we would have to build something to compete with him. So I had an opportunity to do that show as well. And then lastly, 2023, Lego Masters reached out again and said, hey, you're one of our fan favorites. We would love for you to come on to the third annual Spectacular Special. You're going to be partnered up with a celebrity, and you'll have 4 challenges. And at the end of those 4 challenges, you have a chance to win the coveted Lego Masters trophy, and so on and so forth. So, as you can see, and if you haven't seen it already, spoiler alert, I won. So, thank you. So, winning that was very significant because not only did I win and the way I won, but I became the very first Black Lego Master winner on the global brand anywhere. So, out of Lego Masters, I'm the only one. So this, and of course, if you are not familiar, if you need to catch up, Hulu and other streaming services, you can watch. All right, so season 1. So here's a few images of my brother and I from season 1. We learned a lot. It is not easy to build Lego when you have a time clock behind you and you have hundreds of cameras in front of you. But me and my brother, we had such a great time doing this because at that time, we were kind of growing up and growing apart. Because as I was creating my family, he was trying to create his own path. And as brothers, if you have siblings, it's hard to stay connected once you start to grow up. And the show enabled me and my brother to get back together and to connect. Just like how you use with Legos, you connect those pieces, we call it fleshing in Lego. That's exactly what me and my brother was able to do, being back together and being on the show. Meeting Will Arnett was very interesting. He is a very interesting guy, but he is very passionate for Lego. He's very passionate when it comes to the show. Now, Buddy vs. Christmas was a totally different experience. That experience, we did not have a time clock. We did have a time limit, but we had 24 hours. And not only that, we were able to do something that we weren't able to do on Lego Masters, and that is to give what we built away. On Lego Masters, after you build something, they demolish it and destroy it for the next episode. And they did it very violently. Like, we heard them in the back, like, why are we taking such pleasure in destroying our lives? This doesn't seem like it. But we got to build this, and a beautiful thing about this particular episode is I reached out to fellow Lego Masters that were in the area, and I felt didn't get a proper, a proper introduction to the world, so to speak. So I shared this opportunity with my fellow Lego Masters, and we built this character here called Action Hero Ultrabot. And Action Hero Ultrabot was then donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Now, my family, Make-A-Wish is very important. My brother was a Make-A-Wish kid, my niece who's here, she's a Make-A-Wish kid as well. And we were able to build something not only for a show, but for it to be donated to kids who need that extra boost. My brother, he had leukemia. And growing up as a younger brother, I know it was hard for him. But as his older brother, it was hard for me to help him because I didn't quite understand what he was going through. And when we built this together, we knew that there were kids who would come in who had a hard day of treatment, who had a hard, just day in general, and they would see this bot and they would get inspiration that, you know what, I can push on a little bit further. I have the strength to move on. And that was the main reason why we built this. And it was such a great experience that Buddy Palastro, even though he won that challenge, he decided to donate to the Make-A-Wish. So we donated $5,000 to Make-A-Wish as well on top of that. So it was very meaningful for us to have this experience. And then the third annual Celebrity Holiday Spectacular Special. And we have to say it like that every single time. Like I had to do so many retakes and I kept messing it up. But this was a very fun experience. My partner was Sophia Bush, if you're familiar with her. She's doing great things in the world. She's a huge activist right now, and she's fighting for all different types of things. The charity that we were fighting for, or we were trying to get money for, is a Rainbow Library. So it's a library that is for kids of all different walks of life. And we decided to create, in our final build, was a storybook where I dedicated it to my son. To my son, Calvera. He's a ball of energy. He's 4 years old. And one thing he likes tigers. So I created a tiger as the main character in a giant open book that he rises out of the book and he rises back down in the book. So it was like a pop-up book. And it was such a fun design because Sophia not only gave me the chance of just going forward with it, but it was something that my son loves. He loves to read. Even though he doesn't read, I do most of the reading for him. But he actually sits and listens to me while I'm reading. So we were able to do that and win. But this experience altogether was just so fun, and we did such great work together. And all the teams had different charities that were just beneficial to the world. And you know, my TV career is not quite over. I'm always going to be a part of the Lego Master brand. It's only a matter of when the next opportunity will arise. So while I'm waiting for that, I do have a 9 to 5, and that's what I'm going to get into. From Zoom to Zam. I don't know what Zam means. I just needed something to go into. So I started my career on my LLC doing Zoom classes. So I figured if I was on TV, then I had a little bit of legitimacy that I could teach kids how to build with Lego because I'm on TV. So that was my logic at the time. And outside of that, I knew how to teach kids because I've been doing that my whole life. So these are different things that I was doing in my local area and in different parts of the country. We started off on Zoom calls, and then as the world started to open up, I started doing homeschools. So these two on the far right over here are from my homeschool kids. So I would go and visit them, and I would basically give them a project. So a lot of the things that I taught, I base it off of the show, because that's what we were more familiar with. So I'll say, hey, we have an hour. I want you guys to build me your house in 1,000 years. Concept of a child and how they can bring that out into Lego. It's a beautiful tool because it's hard for them to really draw it out. It's hard for them to write it out, but they can easily build it. And as they're building it, it may not look like much to you, but when you look at it from their perspective, it's a lot more to them. So that's why it's so important that you give kids the creative tools that they need to express themselves. On the bottom here, that was actually a camp that I actually traveled to in Oklahoma. So he had me out there for a week, and one of the big things with kids is Minecraft. If you are not familiar with Minecraft, get familiar with Minecraft, okay? And I'm not saying that as a Minecraft, player, but kids really enjoy Minecraft because of the fact that they have a space where they can create. And that is one of the key things about my program. It's all about creating. As adults, we get out of the world of creating because we're told we have to get a 9 to 5, we have to go to college, and we have to get a good job and pay the bills and all that stuff. And we lose that sense of play. We lose that sense of creativity because we're told we need to grow up. I had a dark age, so in Lego, there is something called a dark age. When you're playing with Lego, you stop playing with Lego and then you come back to Lego. So my dark age happened when I started to discover video games, and my parents were getting kind of sick and tired of stepping on Lego pieces all over the house and all that other stuff. So I figured, okay, well, I have to put away this because I have to be an adult. So I started to become an adult. And little by little, Lego started to make its way back into my life, and now it's my entire world. So I lost that sense of play, but I was able to get it back. So I'm hoping that during this speech, it encourages you to think about play, not as a way of unwinding, but also as a creative tool that you can use for your students. All right. Now, I mentioned that I was in school for art. I went to school for fine arts right here on this campus. And I always thought that I would be a big time artist, right? My goal was to get out of school, get my degrees, move to New York, live in a loft, and then go to Central Park and paint. That was my mindset at the time. But I realized that don't pay the bills. So I needed to focus in on something else. So I had a job, and in this job I worked as an analyst. And as I grew in the company, I didn't want to lose the art that I went to school for. So I decided to do little things here and there, little odd jobs of painting, and that didn't bring me any satisfaction either. So now that I'm in this world of Lego, I said, how can I create something that is artistic, but I'm using Lego at the same time? And that's when I came up with these mosaics. Now, these mosaics are not the first of its kind. There are mosaics of Lego everywhere. But what I decided to make this more unique is to bring this to the students. So instead of me being on stage and just building something for the students to sit and ooh and ah, they're actually in the process of building it. So this is an example of the students that ultimately built this. So I go to different schools and I create these mosaics and I show them a blank plate, just like those plates that I see on the table. And just to let you guys know, those plates should not be blank. You should have some Lego pieces on it. But I show them the blank plate and I say, hey, this is going to look like this now, but by the time we're done at the end of the day, it's going to look like this. And the kids, they have a sense of pride when they know that they were able to put at least one piece on. And that is something that you need to encourage in students. Students need to feel that they're a part of something. Because if they feel that they're just part of the system, they get lost in the shuffle. As a kid growing up in an urban environment, I always felt I got lost in the shuffle because I looked like every other kid. If I walked the streets and I looked a certain way, I couldn't be mistaken for any other kid. So it was easy to get lost in the shuffle. So students nowadays, they're even more lost in the shuffle because you have social media that takes them away. You have bullying, that's also a factor. You have kids who just don't know where they fit in. And that's why I love Lego, because Lego is a universal language that you fit in anywhere. And that's the cool thing about Lego. Each piece that you see on your table, they're all different pieces, all different colors, all different shapes, all different sizes. And when you bring them all together, they make beautiful art. And that's why we have such beautiful art. Another cool thing about these mosaics is that